The kids, they are why you do what you do. They are why you keep trying, even on your toughest days, because you are called to love them for Jesus' sake.
Wow, that dedication, it really sets a heartfelt tone for today's deep dive, doesn't it?
It really does. Such
Yeah.
a powerful starting point, very grounding.
Yeah. So today we're plunging into the profound and practical wisdom from your children's ministry from scratch.
It's a really comprehensive guide,
Mm.
and it's specifically designed, to help church leaders.
Right. Even if you have absolutely no existing program, like starting from zero.
Exactly. How to build something vibrant, something impactful right from the ground up.
It sounds like such an essential resource, especially, like you mentioned, for someone like Carrie in the book. She just kind of fell into the role.
Yeah, that's how she puts it.
Hmm.
And the book really addresses that critical need for people starting from square one. It
Yeah.
gives you a roadmap, really, no matter your background.
To build something foundational, something that thrives. Hmm. And it builds on this legacy of pioneers like Dr. Dan Rector back in 1971, the first paid full-time children's pastor.
Wow, really?
Yeah, and he saw firsthand how these strong children's ministries dramatically grew churches.
Okay, so that leads right into our mission today then. We want to unpack the actionable steps, the foundational principles.
Yeah, and maybe some surprising truths too.
Right. Things that empower anyone who feels called to children's ministry. We'll look at the why and the how.
And definitely what not to do. That's important too.
Oh, absolutely. How to create a program that genuinely thrives right from scratch. I have to say, I'm genuinely excited about this topic. It just feels like it has potential for real, tangible change in churches.
It really does, echoing that author's passion.
Okay, so let's dive in. When a church is starting out, sometimes children's ministry can feel like an extra, a nice to have once everything else is settled.
Yeah, I've seen that.
But this book seems to argue it's a must-have right from day one. Why is it so foundational, even for the smallest church just starting out?
Well, what's truly fascinating and maybe a bit sobering is the stark reality the book lays out about the future of faith.
Okay.
It highlights these really compelling statistics, like most active Christians, they actually commit to Christ before they turn 12.
Before 12. Wow.
Yeah. And even more critically, kids establish their entire worldview, their sense of right and wrong, before that same age.
That young.
But then here's the alarming flip side. The book states that 75 to 80% of children in our church ministries have been leaving their faith before the age of 18.
75 to 80%. That's staggering.
It really is. So you see, this isn't just some side program. It's absolutely central to the church's future. It's very survival, you could argue.
And it's not just like modern sociology saying this, right? The Bible itself.
Oh, absolutely. The biblical perspective is strong. You look at Deuteronomy 6, verses 6 and 7, it's a command, to actively teach children. Talk about these things constantly when you are at home and when you are away.
When you lie down and when you rise.
Yeah.
And Jesus himself, he was such a champion for children, Matthew 18.6.
Right, that warning about causing a little one to stumble. Better to have a millstone tied around your neck. It's intense.
It shows just how much value God places on this youngest generation. It's not an afterthought for him.
Not at all. And if you connect this to the bigger picture, you often see that churches that aren't, thriving, they often have stagnant or maybe even failing children's ministries.
So there's a direct link.
A deep, deep link. The growth of a church is just so tied to the health and vitality of its children's program. It's not just about getting families in the door, though that helps.
Right.
It's about nurturing faith from the very beginning. And that impacts the whole church, future generations, everything.
Okay, but so often, like we said with Carrie, leaders feel like they fell into it. Or there's this myth, maybe, that all other churches have a real kids pastor, someone with all the degrees.
The professional.
Yeah. How does the book handle that feeling that, I'm not qualified, especially when you're starting with literally nothing?
Yeah, that's a really important question, isn't it? Who is truly qualified? The book counters this myth just beautifully, I think.
How so?
It points out that many, maybe even most successful children's ministry leaders are just everyday people.
Yeah.
Moms, dads, business executives, truck drivers, people without formal pastoral degrees.
Really?
Yeah, the book says it directly. God doesn't make mistakes. The God who led you here has great things in store for you.
That's encouraging.
It really is. What's critical isn't being some kind of, acrobat or firebrand juggler, as the book puts it,
Right.
but just having a profound love for God and for his kids. The
Yeah.
core message is just so powerful. When God calls you, he equips you. You start with what you have, like Moses and his staff, right?
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So starting with what you have,
Right.
where does the book say to begin practically? I remember reading something really interesting. It says, vision is everything.
Yes, that's huge in the book.
Not just like a nice mission statement to hang on the wall,
Mm-hmm.
but the absolute foundation for everything else. Budget, recruiting, everything. Why start there, especially from scratch?
Because that clear vision, it's essentially your why. It answers that fundamental question, why are we even doing children's or family ministry?
Okay.
The book gives this pretty stark example of a huge church, big budget, great facilities, everything. But their children's ministry failed. Why? No vision.
What were they doing?
Literally like throwing candy on the floor and playing a 70-minute video. That was the program.
Oh, wow. No purpose there.
None. And contrast that with another story where a clear vision led to a ministry quadrupling in size in just 11 months. Vision gives you purpose, direction. It makes every action intentional.
So it prevents the throwing candy on the floor approach.
Exactly. It moves you from just activity to actual intentional ministry.
Okay, so if vision is that critical, what are some concrete, actionable steps for a new leader? How do you actually build that vision? You can't just wish it into existence.
No, definitely not. It really starts, the book says, with prayer and maybe journaling, seeking that specific divine direction first.
Makes sense.
Then it's vital to align the kids' ministry mission with the overall church mission. So like if the main church mission is reaching, teaching, and loving our city.
Then the kids' ministry is reaching, teaching, and loving the kids of our city.
Precisely. It needs to echo. You can look at other churches for ideas, sure, but the book warns against just copying and pasting. Make it yours.
Right, authenticity.
Yeah. And crucially, work with a team. Get input from volunteers, staff, parents, a diverse group. Don't try to do it in a vacuum.
Good point. And then goals.
Yes. Set measurable goals, not just, oh, I hope we get more volunteers. No, make it concrete.
Yep.
We will recruit 16 more volunteers by Christmas. Something you can actually track.
Okay, vision first. Got it. Now, the next big hurdle often feels like money. That feeling of our church just has no money for this.
Mm-hmm.
How does the book tackle that common budget myth, especially for a brand new ministry?
The budget. Yeah, the book calls it a landmine, which feels about right sometimes.
Yeah.
But the truth it points out is every ministry actually has a budget. It might be hidden, money spent here and there on paper, snacks, random videos. It adds up.
So it's already being spent, just maybe not strategically.
Exactly. And the book really dispels the no money myth by asserting this principle: growth precedes budget dollars.
Okay, explain that.
If you can demonstrate quality, if you have that clear vision, if you're showing impact, the funding tends to follow. It's like the parable of the talents, right?
Right.
Show you can handle what you have, and more comes.
That requires faith, though.
It does. And the book also highlights this modern reality. We live in very child-driven homes now. Parents prioritize spending on kids' soccer, ballet, tutoring, whatever, sometimes over their own needs.
True. You see that everywhere.
But church budgets often haven't caught up. They might still reflect an older model, prioritizing adult ministries first, leaving children's ministry with the leftovers.
That's a huge disconnect, isn't it? So, practically speaking, how does a new leader bridge that gap, especially if they really are starting with almost nothing?
Well, first, the advice is start small. Don't walk in asking for 5,000 new chairs if you only have 50 kids. Build credibility first.
Be realistic.
Exactly. Get help. Find someone in the church who's good with budgets, who understands how things work there. And here's a huge one the book stresses. Do a full church inventory.
An inventory of what?
Everything. Closets, storage rooms. The book says most churches do not suffer for what they don't have. Most pay through the nose because they are unaware of what's in those dusty ministry closets.
I can believe that. Hidden treasures.
You'd be amazed what you might find. Craft supplies, old curriculum bits, furniture. Also, network. Use Google groups, Facebook groups for children's ministry leaders. People give away or sell stuff cheap all the time.
Good tips.
And always, always use budget rationale. When you do ask for something, explain why. Logical, detailed reasons. Don't just say, we need crayons. Say, we need 20 boxes of crayons to support our new craft station, which reinforces the weekly lesson for kinesthetic learners, impacting approximately 30 children each week.
Show the why behind the what.
Exactly. And the book shares this great story about persistence, too. A director kept resubmitting proposals for a key staff hire like 3 times over a year and a half. Showed her work, stayed professional.
And did it work?
It did. Got the position funded, and the ministry doubled again in 6 months. Patience and professionalism pay off.
Okay, great advice on budget. So vision, budget, what's next? Often it seems like curriculum is the big decision that can make or break things.
Definitely a key piece.
And Carrie in the book felt totally overwhelmed by all the options. There's this myth floating around, right? Switching to the newest, trendiest curriculum will save our kids' ministry.
Oh yeah, the magic bullet curriculum myth.
How does the book push back on that?
It raises a really critical point. Curriculum is just a tool. It's there to help you fulfill your vision. It's not a shortcut to vision. Your ministry's branding, its mission that should be stable, not changing every time a new shiny curriculum pops up.
Because that causes chaos.
Huge chaos. It's costly, financially, yes, but also in volunteer turnover. Imagine being a volunteer, finally getting the hang of one system, and boom, it changes again. It's frustrating.
Yeah, I see that.
And the book even warns against another myth. We should try a different curriculum every month. That just destroys a leader's credibility, makes the ministry seem totally directionless.
Okay, so stability is important. But what about that other really dangerous myth you mentioned from the book? Myth #4. Curriculums are all the same.
Yeah, this one is. It's genuinely dangerous, especially for a new leader maybe trying to save money.
Oh, so?
The book shares this truly frightening story from a Pastor Ryan. He was focused on finding something cheap, didn't vet it properly. He unknowingly ordered curriculum that had like occult-like content woven into it, stuff completely contrary to their beliefs. He had to throw it all out.
Oh my goodness, that's terrifying.
Right. It just hammers home.
Yeah.
You have to do your homework. Don't just look at the price tag. Does it align with your vision, your theology, your church's values? Get samples. Check the denominational background. Look at the format. Consider hidden costs like supplies and prep time.
Wow. Okay, definitely not all the same. So, switching gears a bit, let's talk about the people. Building the team, recruitment. It can feel like pulling teeth sometimes, right? Like you're constantly apologizing for asking people to help.
That sinking ship mentality the book mentions. Yeah, it's common.
So how does the book suggest we reframe volunteering? How do you attract amazing people, especially when you're just starting out and maybe don't have much to show yet?
The key is a complete reframing. Volunteering isn't burdening someone. The book argues it's the kindest thing you can do for them.
How is it kind?
Because you're offering them a chance to use their God-given gifts for something with eternal impact. Serving isn't just filling a slot. It's biblical. It's discipleship. And you need everyone to catch that vision when you're starting out.
Shifting the perspective from obligation to opportunity.
Exactly. And the book tackles outdated ideas too, like children's ministry being just women's work. It points to Deuteronomy, saying men should be involved. And interestingly, the author found that after implementing thorough screening for everyone, their team shifted to nearly 61% men.
Wow, 61%. That's a huge shift.
Shows what happens when you challenge assumptions and screen properly.
Okay, so the mindset is crucial. What about the actual asking? The book says something about under-asking.
Yes. It challenges that tendency to minimize the commitment or apologize for needing help. Ask big. People are drawn to a significant vision, not just filling a warm body slot on a supposedly sinking ship.
Like Jesus's approach.
Kind of, yeah. The book draws inspiration there. Jesus prayed, then he asked big, leave everything, follow me now. He didn't apologize or beg. Now, we're not Jesus, but the principle holds.
Ask with conviction for a worthy cause.
Precisely. There's a great example in the book about a nursery. It went from, we just need people to hold babies, to we need leaders to introduce babies to worship, scripture, and prayer. The vision got bigger, more meaningful.
And people signed up.
Exactly, because they saw the profound importance of it. While things like pulpit appeals can reach many, the book says the strategic personal ask approaching specific people thoughtfully is the most effective way to get high-capacity leaders involved.
Makes sense. Okay, so you've got vision, maybe some budget, curriculum, and you're building your team. Now, communication. That constant complaint in churches, nobody knows what's going on.
Yes, the communication black hole.
How do we make sure parents and volunteers feel Included, informed, especially as a new ministry finds its feet.
Well, the book points out that lead pastors consistently rank the ability to communicate well with parents and volunteers as a top quality they look for in children's leaders. It's that important.
So it's a core competency.
Absolutely. And the key words the book uses are strategy, persistence, and consistency. Because people are just bombarded with information constantly. You have to cut through the noise.
And good communication builds trust.
Right. Immense trust and credibility. It cuts down on confusion, frustration, makes people feel valued, connected. It's foundational for a healthy team.
So what methods work best? How do you actually do that consistent strategic communication?
The book highlights a few key tools. Websites and Facebook pages are crucial now. They need to be central hubs for information, updated weekly, not just static brochures. Use videos, photos, make it engaging.
Weekly updates, okay.
The author's personal favorite for getting consistent, detailed info out to large groups, email blasts, done regularly, predictably.
Yeah, email still works?
Absolutely. And don't underestimate the power of a personal phone call, especially for key leaders or sensitive situations. It shows you care. These methods, used consistently, build that vital trust.
Got it. Now, something absolutely non-negotiable, safety. The book opens with that scary lost child incident with Carrie. It's a stark reminder.
It really is chilling.
For a new children's ministry, starting from scratch, what are the absolute must-have safety protocols? Where do you even start?
You start by taking it incredibly seriously. The book points out that churches, sadly, are often seen as soft targets by predators. You have to learn from others' mistakes and be vigilant.
So what are the first steps?
Check-in and check-out systems are paramount. They're not just for safety, they're also crucial for first impressions. The book says most parents decide if they'll return within the first 10 minutes of entering the children's area.
10 minutes. Wow.
Yeah. Electronic systems are generally preferred now for accuracy, tracking allergies, custody issues, all that. And then background checks?
Non-negotiable, right?
Absolutely non-negotiable anymore. Fingerprinting, detailed applications, reference checks, in-person interviews, and no exceptions. Everyone's serving, male, female, young, old. Everyone gets screened.
No exceptions, got it.
And crucially, no adult should ever be alone with a child. Ever. The book emphasizes the rule of 3, minimum 3 adults per room, ideally unrelated.
Okay, rule of 3. That seems like a lot to consider, especially setting up. What about other dangers? Things may be easily overlooked when you're just starting and don't have established systems.
Yeah, there are others. One big one the book flags is unattended children wandering the church property before or after services. The church is liable if they get hurt.
Right, liability.
Solutions include hiring early supervisors, maybe having families serve together in setup or teardown roles. The book also really stresses getting professional eyes on your space. Ask your local fire chief, police department, maybe a daycare director to walk through and advise on emergency plans.
For fire, tornadoes, active shooters.
Sadly, yes, all of it. You need plans, and you need to practice them. And simple things, too. Regular fresh eyes walkthroughs. Look for splinters, exposed wiring, broken toys, overloaded outlets. Keep detailed incident reports for everything.
Thoroughness is key. Okay, shifting slightly, but related to protecting the ministry. The problem of being seen as just babysitting, especially for like weeknight Bible studies or church events.
Yeah. The expectation of free childcare for everything.
How does the book suggest leaders handle that? It can burn out volunteers fast.
Oh, absolutely. The book explains this expectation really ramped up in the late 80s, and it puts an unsustainable burden on children's ministry volunteers. It leads directly to burnout and often sacrifices the quality of your main weekend ministry. There's a story of a leader resigning specifically because she was overwhelmed with weekday childcare duties.
So what's the solution? You can't just say no to everything, can you?
The solution proposed is clear separation. Children's ministry needs to be distinct from event childcare. You need to limit the number of events you provide childcare for, and ideally, hire or recruit a dedicated events childcare coordinator.
Someone separate.
Yes, with a separate pool of volunteers or paid workers who are specifically signed up for those occasional events. This protects your core ministry volunteers and allows them to focus their energy on the main Sunday or Saturday programs, which should be the priority.
It makes a lot of sense. Protect the core ministry. Okay, so we've covered safety, structure. Now let's talk about making it amazing, creating those dynamic, unforgettable experiences.
Yes, moving beyond just well-run to captivating.
How do we make children's services truly impactful, especially when starting out and trying to build excitement and reputation?
This is where the book introduces illustrative methods. Think of them as like upgrades to your curriculum, ways to bring the message to life off the page.
Upgrades. I like that. Why are they so effective?
Well, several reasons. People remember way more of what they do, the book says 80% compared to just hearing. So these methods engage all learning styles. They also tend to involve more families, which builds community.
And they lead to growth.
Often, yes, numerical growth. And they can open doors for community outreach, too. It goes back to that proverb, your gift will make a way for you. Using creativity makes the mystery attractive and memorable. But first, you have to know your audience. Understand kids' culture, what they watch, play, listen to, so you can connect authentically.
Okay, so what are some practical examples of these illustrative methods, things even a new ministry could realistically start doing?
Lots of options. Engaging storytelling is huge. It's a biblical mandate, right? Tell God's story, tell your own testimony. Games and crafts are essential for those kinesthetic learners, but they must be relevant to the lesson theme and safe.
Not just random fun.
Right, purposeful fun.
Yeah.
Even short, well-chosen video clips for countdowns or announcements can add energy. Developing a simple kid worship team focusing on enthusiasm over perfection is powerful.
What else?
Inviting guest interviewees. Your lead pastor, a missionary visiting, maybe a community leader. It confirms the teaching and exposes kids to diverse role models. And don't forget object lessons or simple illusions. Jesus used them constantly. They're visually powerful teaching tools.
Lots of creative ideas there. Finally, let's talk about the main service. Making it truly family-oriented. Lots of parents resist having kids in the main service, or maybe the church just feels like it's tolerating them.
Yeah, the kids are allowed, but not really welcome vibe.
Exactly. What does a truly intentional family service look like, according to the book, beyond just letting kids sit there?
Well, first, the book clarifies what it's not. It's not just the regular adult service with kids present, and it's definitely not like punishment for kids who misbehaved in their own class.
Okay, so what is it?
It's intentional. It starts with setting different expectations. You expect some noise, some movement, maybe a bit of mess. It's okay. The service itself is designed for all generations.
How do you do that?
You integrate different age groups into the elements, the music choices, the teaching methods, the message application. You intentionally put diverse ministry teams on stage. Students, seniors, kids, different family types. Modeling that intergenerational church life.
Seeing everyone involved.
Exactly. And promoting this vision of the church as a family of families. Truly inclusive of single parents, blended families, singles, elderly folks. Everyone belongs together.
That sounds really beautiful, actually.
It can be. When done well, it fosters connection across generations.
Wow. It's really amazing to see how all these pieces, vision, budget, team, safety, communication, creativity, inclusion, fit together.
And they build on each other.
And that brings us back to Carrie's story, the book, which is just so encouraging.
Where?
After putting in all that hard work, starting from scratch, implementing these kinds of strategies.
Yeah, her ministry grew, right? Budget approved, quality leaders came.
Exactly. And her pastor actually asked her to stay on permanently. It's just such a powerful illustration that God is doing great things, even when you start small. And those good problems, like running out of space because you're growing, they're worth celebrating.
Absolutely. Her story is such an inspiration. It proves that with prayer, persistence, and these practical building blocks, you really can build a thriving children's ministry from the ground up. It doesn't matter how small you start.
What an incredible deep dive this has been. We've really unpacked so much. The core importance of kids ministry, the absolute power of having a clear vision.
Strategic planning for budget and curriculum, really valuing and recruiting your team in the right way.
Making safety an absolute priority, mastering communication, and then bringing it all to life with creative engagement and building truly inclusive family experiences.
And it's interesting, the author, Pastor Trisha, she has a doctorate in church leadership, all the credentials, but what really shines through is just her raw passion for empowering ordinary people doing this work.
Yeah, you feel that.
It kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? If God uses everyday people, moms, dads, truck drivers, to do these extraordinary things for kids, what God dream might he be stirring in your heart right now for the next generation, right where you are?
Ooh, that's a powerful thought to end on. What specific area, maybe just one thing from our talk today, are you going to focus on applying this week? What small, tangible step can you take, maybe even today, to start making that difference for the kids in your church or your community? We really want to invite you to dream big with God and just get started.